This is Boadu TV. Truth and integrity.
Boadu TV sunye yema munyina akwaba na de tene say Ofori Atta de ayi ndoma o mama na unyana fu pa Ivan Chise unyana fu se ne wo fa bedi ade se wampanyi no fa ne se me offer se be finance minister anu di ensika misuse ensika ena na wadwane ena OSP etoto na no papa so what I say oh adene de planting omo say planting de ayi na nye utina na meja akukra de na planting omo sheda na mo yes say on fan OSP fan sanke kan Ofori Atta de no
bia ye gina sesia no wa ho Ghana for have gotten to a point they want people to be held accountable for their crimes.
Yes.
Because you may know many several other people over the years consistently lambasted Ofori Atta for some of the criminal dealings in some Neemana or put to the economy of this country in danger. And act now or acted time no, now it was in good spirit. Na say or they have been fine brabe you are no nka wudi mirika na babe you are no. But his unwillingness, the reluctance on his part to even make appearance or babe you na no chere say nsam na ye kan no aye no krese indeed dream na na audio mine would because be so onya na for
why some na kan
Ofori Atta some na make onya na for because no wafa na be the president na your friend say me wafa say brabe finance minister and then he was playing lord over even his own party people. When this office of the special prosecutor was created, my first comment, I remember it very well, sir, it was nothing but a useless creation.
Office of the
Office of the special prosecutor.
Your first comment. My
first comment, I remember it very clear. Our Radio Universe, our University of Ghana campus.
Does it still remain a useless?
It's still an amfasobe na baso. Mo kasa also on chia koko. Menu so on chia bebe. Nti no amfasobe na also. So it still remains a useless creation. Makase. So what your mind as a person fighting corruption. It's not about the many institutions you create. It is about the political will on the part of the actors to make sure say available office no more on all resources to be at their effective way of making media adwuma. Office of the special prosecutor and I'm for say independent body in the first place and yet independent because I answerable to the Attorney General Department because a static case or take here the Attorney General can file for discontinuation of the case. So where lies your independence as a body? There is no independence. Akufo-Addo created that thing because he thought Martin Amidu at the time was better. So he was going to harvest his bitterness against the NDC and use him against people in the previous government. That is the whole enterprise for setting up this special prosecutor. Martin Amidu proved himself to be a tough person of conviction who will not allow himself to be used as a toy to satisfy obi political agenda no. And now back and forth now or the resigning coffee, Then this gentleman comes into the picture. Go back and check the budgetary allocation to his office from 2022 up to now is over 500 million Ghana cedis. Now bisa won say so be na Ghana nya free so cause onyam fa akokọ kran kokọ to makokọ ndi for there be a press conference now oba no sounding so emotional hymns and then no can we there be a wo de obi etata na obi ma wo nya wadwuma and why don't you resign and go home? It means the willingness in the say the fight corruption now. They set it that particular office, that wasn't idea. It was just there just to play around issues, just to make people know, say, oh, baby, when you know in reality, on your share. So the intent of Akufo-Addo to set up the special prosecutor and say,
I see.
Because ordinance I say, oh yeah, but in reality, he's not doing anything. Me tia Abrante no kind of the spokesperson say made that cause. When I say, your friend say, when him say NDC for the pressure ma Attorney General NDC for one the pressure ma your friend say. In the Ghana obi can say ma ni papa na NDC for one the pressure ma Attorney General NDC for no mo Togo for no mo your friend say Nigeria for. They are Ghanaians. And they are entitled to because every Ghanaian before the election, we got convinced a certain group of criminals stole our money, and we want them to be held accountable. And when I cover that particular case, and I also we investigate. Because the entire this whole extradition process, a problem. They say, JB, this is how it is. Answer a bit me extradition will be from the US, you know. Oh, wow. First, what you do, they say, indict the person by a court of competent jurisdiction.
Yeah.
But to do that, you know, you also need all the facts available case, you know. Then you officially document relevant legal laws. Indeed,
yeah.
Now what's the Foreign Affairs Ministry Attorney General, we are communicated through the diplomatic channels to the US, your friends, the Department of Justice, and then your friends at the State Department. So the State Department will look at all these facts. Now we'll be some relevant questions. In the first place, are there more accusing a crime or Ghana? But is it a crime in the United States of America? And if they're able to find that connection, then it means that you're marking him. Then you'll be say, case now what charging the is it politically motivated? And I say, just watch hunting. To prove that, you know, you need to have investigation now. Kissi Jabe, no Kruma say, no, because I never check, and never show cause indeed. As some year company panohono, and yes, a political watch hunting.
Investigation,
now, investigation facts in a Kahunia, I just say indeed. I didn't nipana, no, Ghana, madam. Wabumbra and sa at the corner sign a boomra so our United States of America because political corruption anywhere no in any civilized democratic dispensation no a crime cross border crime so DOJ and the State Department established that particular thing then they will have to take it to a court in America. The magistrate court for a judge to also determine all these facts to make a point say indeed. And some na Ghana for air can say Abrantia na ye we no say no crash so the judge will also give it a pass. Then it will be referred back to the State Department and the State Department will make the final determination. And in making that final determination, they will have to look at other facts as well. And human rights violations.
Which will not be extremely too much difficult for a government to
exactly. So I'm laying out the process that has to be followed. So I say I'm not say idea messy. Attorney General and go ahead to do that. You know, I had the critical fact because you can't just say fact be the fact now what they call will be subjected to judicial review in America by a court of competent jurisdiction. And here you need a court of competent jurisdiction to indict him. And this is who in the fact now a dear ben we're not saying what they call catch America for that is why the AG is unable to proceed because relevant facts now. The American authorities will have to examine to establish the legal sanctity. Say, indeed, nipa na ye no say na no ansana yaka ho asem. And then we know the last time Bettina Kachira said, whenever you are dealing with extradition, that's a nipa no play. I am sick kada. Making this whole process nonsense.
Yeah.
Especially when he's able to show cause indeed. On your well, they will have to also go through another legal process. What is happening? So at the end of the day, it's not as easy as. But Nina say nipa no mbedi o man say mamboye for to the point to say. At the papa no ya nka wa okrom ni o ma me fia papa firi ha say. Won so no konkoto obi krom pretend this away yara when indeed you are walking gallivanting on the street of the United States of America on daily basis. That alone indeed, and Crawford on Bedi or mine so ya mamboye for because about the finance minister won't even call Krum. Do you think that is an easy distance for you? The whole finance minister you cannot go back to your own country or Yarabaya won't be Kruma. So you see, for me, the office of the special prosecutor and Debia Maka, Kissi Jabe minimno, the account who minimno, I don't care about them. The office is a useless creation and a further burden on the taxpayer. Let us dissolve that particular office and for so be a so now resources now they finance the office of the special prosecutor no yam fan call the AG's department now yam widen the capacity now you're making sure say they are able to have the various regional offices will also be effective. Some because prosecution there and again I've listened to a lot of people who argue say second of all Argentina trying in absentia. You see, it doesn't work straightforward just like that. Because for a court or or try or be in absentia, no, you must have exhausted all the alternative available. Into court of a country say, did you follow through with extradition process? What's it there be? Then how do you want me to? Yes, try in absentia. It cannot happen in the court. What I say. So we need to exhaust this particular process first. Now say at the papa be free ma. And no now betting say try in absentia. And Ghana will not be the first country to try people in absentia. Makacho after the Second World War, Nazi for no mudis and most of them, even though they were dead, they were tried in absentia. But Ofori Atta people should also know him for who he is as a person. These are mamboya for better on mind swa. Omodo mind be dia grobe yen semunu. And then or no ankasa ne kro so ntimi mbam. So for me, I think that you see the Attorney General should look at other issues. Now we know. Say or the little case they should take full custody of the entire investigation and they should push it to any other investigative body to work on this particular thing and speed up the process, because if there is anybody you prosecuting and now be no Ghana for will be happier. It's kind of Ofori Atta because of the economic we all call Sulu Kroma say, and for the office of the special prosecutor, it's not personal. I think the office is a useless creation and must be disbanded. Let us take the act back to Parliament and revoke it and make sure say we keep wasting state resources.
As of 2024, the office of the special prosecutor buying allocate about 146 million Ghana cedis and the man say of Anyanejuma. Meaning so you soon in every year.
And you're not going to bulletproof card and as for the name Chroma. And now I'm going to say, and I'm officers been a yabubo mudding. You guys are jokers.
Lucius, finally, in the next 1 minute, if I wrap it up, I don't know if it's quite sensitive though, but Nakesi enough time you're discussing the president meeting, the CJ, the Attorney General, and the Auditor General, but
enough time.
Need enough time, sir. But I don't know if you can. You'll be in the next 1 or 2 minutes.
But you see, Babia, Ivan, DC, my person can be big kakra. I want to say, okay, say the Attorney General office, no, should take full custody of investigation.
Yes.
So over here, OSP office now, they started from electronic transaction because Ofori Atta no the Ghana ha. But how now OSP no ever so reach out to Ofori Atta so or throw the amount. What you say okay yamra na ye were that electronic transaction act no say even say ye hwehwe na say ye nyaw say ye court per se or the letter amount na onyaw na ebi a hide ya you bet you cross send through WhatsApp.
Yeah, of course.
What you say per the Electronic Transaction Act no. And you know how OSP no fast started no. I believe say Attorney General office no so new world they should also start from there because it's like the OSP is not willing. Say onu mum no edit docket bi be den edit be kwa koma be. But President Mama meeting with the Auditor General more than for no. Me say because over the period no, yanum na about na high say can be. Say after say Auditor General be wie ne bibia no yenhu hwe. And then say ocean so a meeting no so no. I think say be set up a court.
Yeah.
No betna offense saying sa infractions na ekoso Auditor General report no eso. And it's a step in the right direction because ebe ma process no speed up than say ebe for the normal process no.
But say Ivan.
Yes. I think that Kissi Ben office no with this particular kind of Ofori Atta case in China. There is no single case what take here are conclusive. One has to do with the popular Sicilian case.
Yes.
As ordinance tap so we be say tap so no only was say no. That is exactly what he's doing. You understand? So I think that yes. Let us consign the office of the special prosecutor to the political dustbin. It's not useful anymore. Now you make sure say Attorney General Department will take prosecution upon itself and make sure that they go in strong and in everything. Let me also commend President Mahama for this bold initiative. So, and then over the years, the Auditor General report in about na yakasa kasa ho na yato agu but then to set up a special court to make sure that financial infraction in various agencies departments, you know, it is no longer about politician anymore. Anywhere you find yourself, I will propagate any act of corruption, you know, the state is ready and we are looking at you understand. If we begin to punish crime, I think that man for the best answer atenase ye say a minor na kwa say what that's sorry na me see we the call so kolebui nyane ma me de nyane papa de no room 13th month sika ni hokro to ko bobo from pharmacy account when you know say the money is not your money. You can't be engaging in some of this, you know, reckless financial way. I know that they get away with it. So I think it's a step in the right direction. These are one of the many reasons Ghanaians voted, just to ensure say accountability, because in any democracy the lifeblood the fiber of accountability your friend say it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what you are, and I think it's a step in the right direction. I'll commend him, and we need to go all out and make sure say every single person, both present and old government, be an ordinance about my there. That person will not be spared.
Na chief fire service officer na ono ojeja brofo na kansan samsa edum ehye the same brofo kantamato she first wa brofo kejeti ehye the same brofo na, and those places are still the same way it is right now. So you ask yourself, say, why do you need people like this to be in the helm of affairs when they cannot provide reasonable solution to us?
No, but you see, I don't know about kono nso free ye na nkasa ye nipa no. What you say? The entire make say every year no nso ye say. Yeah, who be bebree man for cry try say be person be decongestion. What you say? Obako baabi e bi mo ton ne manansa bi me call Medina side honum baabi na me hu say ebi mo airton. Chese car kwan na nkasa so. Ebi mo e de body nyina ba be bu.
What should it be so?
Nti kwan no ba ko no kame akwa ti se be de ayi niema a block kwan no ba ko. Nti no o make any step say o pese we decongestion, the same people no na ba be ka che say wo si ba no aduane kwa. Nti America say the market system no ebe ma private krampo na nka be na nkasa no nipa no si structures na si honom what in the metro na say dan no o si ho
Medina honom a woken there's a full marketplace as it stands now and honom it is not in use these guys a friend is saying I'm from junkie guys. Good.
I think that never near this I don't know about no back. You see, sometimes we say si dan nusu ha. If you must say wa dream be say or kwashe sa dan mu say or ton near ma wa hide no.
No.
Yes,
let them go there.
Yes, because or no kwashe dan mu no. Wahu yentimi en control enipa beton niam a ho nti ono kwa akwhye dan mu ba obi mom de niam no ba be si ono nanim enti se wo ba ni ono de ne de na ba be si ono nanim no ono hu no ni ono hye dan mu no hu no enti empempi no amanfo emma ono a wo hye dan mu no. And then again bi a ho a revenues a ye gigi na say ye levy ba be hye sa dan no mu no so no ne bo so san den esan wo soro watch I say ne nyina ka ho bi ni ma ne sa ne ma we mu nyina ne den ye hu ne sa but I think say ye betimi a control ba bi a obi be tena ne ba bi a say obi ton ade ne say e bi a structures a odi be si ho no say enye standard a yama won fancy ho. And again you be consider that privatization ne say places aye no ya allocate say eye market no say private individual be betimi aba be. And I think say private person Asia or ma ho kwan mo bi emfa niam mesisi animu, because see the private ones now ye won wo ayi say no junction mall. What I say, okoye mosque na hodo nya junction bomb kwa okoye mosque na hodo no nyina be makwan ema manfo mfa niema emesisi animu.
All right,
what I say eni nti no say private individual invest wo hono ma o ma ho kwan say obi nko esesa body ana say banchi ana say bibi no mfa mesey the standard na or no asset. Even if you want to sell it, you need to secure a place within or no structures now. Why the West,
We are looking for a reasonable system to reset the entire country. In the name of politics, we will see worse than this. Other countries, they do it. I didn't say by a hand, say just because of political reasons, political fame, any interest in tea. Structures anyhow. Not ashe, TV. So when we have equally important issues to discuss, then we'll be paying attention to some of these things that can be solved. A purely human error. Some of these things should not be accepted. Ivan, I don't know if you agree with me.
Yeah, Jabi, lady come I'm sure it's here for. I think the market I and as for abaya some sort of an annual ritual. We wake up to it every day. And in all these instances, you the actual cause. At this anema way back. Very often you hear report and minimum be free but up to now none of them are arrival. But because we are unable to identify the exact cause of some of these, your friends say Nemana air cause as to whether say even arson crown you can't tell. Because arson exists will be better than a job or could pay jatwa de no washino. I know here many of the Adiana air cause in the past. Especially as our binds the standard period in a who offices in as a phone ma. I then tonight as she documents a woman we never cry with your barber. So though Nemana a cosono, so one to me establish the actual cause. Not Ujan Sana and then a fuel some of these things. Nobody knows whether Quabran in a shedder. A couture jatum and now say your friend saying out of pure human negligence and as a phone. But they say the pattern, a player, Ama Agyarko, quite obvious. The party say, okay, market now is a crowded place. That is why I think the government is making the effort to ensure the market. Yes, I see because what should the see now to turn Neman away and Nema. Some of these things will be avoided, but unfortunately, in our part of the world, KJT market.
Exactly the question.
One of the best structures I've been in Africa, Prano. It's me that's already not Ejatom.
So because that place is so
your fans are susceptible too.
Yeah, sure.
So the fact the case in this when it comes to the supervisory role of Nipana, yet the various market in the shop Monsano role no quite bear no for some play because I don't not mean it's true. I won't call a man for crass cylinder. Our market space or mono a man for soja. These are a highly inflammable a trigger. Bet me a quack a yene abba. And a near money, quite a first way, near my special wiring and as a form, or countermount is an unstructured kind of place. Very busy buzzing with human body stuff, Obia Urembi. And Obia at any point in time to meet a baby, I would structure and as a for not all time idea also. Such spaces, if any unfortunate incident be a sinner say a jatoma, you are sure to say a janabesia aquachiri and a man for a Japadia say. A koba, then people are looking up to government and I near my say, I buy one koboy and also no two these when you're sensitive. But the ultimate responsibility and kaya yes, Kasanema will be avoidable. So I think the supervisory role involved in some of these things, your marketing spaces in as for area night marketing a BC like Antaman to say, I'm told there is a structure more shots here and also litigations as for Masasi, we say Masasi whole lot. And also add to some of these things, you understand? So at times once a government are making commitments, BC market, you need to be making sure such a busy place Cantamanto, one place, you bring a big market there. Now you making sure any safety measures, any safety protocols, be activating some of this in near my annual ritual and personal. You making sure we avoid it. And yet me you be why some of this criminal negligence even and kaya jailina. I am sure senka. They put the best answer.
As I speak with you now, say omo KJT ashi we Omo Constitute Commissioner Omonya report and Fambra. That report is sitting at the local government ministry. As at the time I'm making a special request, I'm here in writing through the RTI. And almost the president is still reviewing the report, so it cannot be delivered to me. And from that time till now, almost every time and the report is still sitting there unattended to.
And
so what are you doing to ourselves?
The fact of the matter is citizens na you occupy that particular place, so there are certain basic safety measures. Yankasa we own it because our property near man I didn't see we are no be able to say na 500 million me shop. Those things you say those things to woo some sort of emotions to yourself, but no serious person will take you serious and say we see cash because in the first place they're not supposed to keep money in that particular place. Sure. So some of these safety measures will tell you you don't keep money in a place you are not assured a hobby in the next place and answer a honche. You understand? So I think we need to take education to a certain level. A bit because you take these measures serious. Some of these things will be avoidable unless you be in a church and yes I name and to know that for certain we need to conduct some sort of a forensic investigation to ascertain what actually the cause is. By the general cause, they need to continue. So I think that this time round, we need to do proper. We sympathize with Obi Awalusu because it's not easy. Okay. So he said the situation city organa na okakrabia wo de akoto nema na wo de kogu na obi negligence intino nema share. You understand the pain and those kind of stuff.
Lucius, my member hona yemfa 10 minutes. My menka will say 10:40 beko break nearby never be wrap up, but my more 10 minutes now in dealing with the office of the special prosecutor the issues I was started about 5-page documents on why Ofori Atta has still not been arrested and other stuff. I said back if I saw everybody so I said politicizing this issue is going to make it difficult to convince an American court that it is not politically motivated. I mean, director of strategy or OSP. That is Ama Agyarko. Yes, that is what he said, and as part of the press release on Monday by so these are some of the issues that everybody. Then I don't know if you say within the 10 minutes, which made the bear 1 minute to be and 2 minutes to be their firm war. The president meeting the winning in Mwa. Then let's deal with that.
Okay. Miriam Darcy. You see, special prosecutor no who our mandate say obetumi ayama ya ginedi. Sa mandate na America no say on say over the period no na attorney general office na ne prosecution ne amanfo mum a raise concern na kopem say 2017 former president na do say ye here a separate independent officer ebeye prosecution. Now nipa wadu esi honum that time no adwen na ewo amanfo bebre team say sa nipa no obi a na oye part of NDC enti no such a person na oye part of NDC na oye beta no meka Martin enti no ono no betimi aden betimi abeche NDC fo bebre edibagum. Now say ohwe Martin Amidu senior OCD ni dwuma no efa ya at a point o ma Ghana fo nyina be hu say na ope document krampa na wonya okwa amanfo officer na be dwane.
I see.
They hide the documents. At a point oba be catch say nanado krampo no the mother serpent of corruption. Because sure. Corruption na nkasa nipa ebo ne ho paaye ayi president na nkasa na osiso ne ono di free hokoi o free hokoi no Kissi ajabe enso baaye onso at a point no onso beto anka no bie say ono nso no kame akwete say MPP for na nkasa na be frɛ no a bed no baaye no baja ne baako de ama no onye relevant bi nenne NDC aba yi no enti ana me ka say say Kissi ajabe no timi ye den etimi ye bibi ma yeje ne office ne ye den edi because the very reason here they establishing that special prosecutor office no entimi achieve even quarter of it.
Which quarter are you talking about? I achieve there.
Achieve she ewo krom ha. In actual fact, me nyan hu say bia na wo de
no, office of the special prosecutor there do I
on ye.
Yes, I mean
what you say? Bronya kra enri montunchi akoko ma obi mfa ni bronya okrom a.
Oh.
Ocha asenti akokɔ kora wontimi enye den entimi enchi bi. Now se eba ebi ti se Ofori Atta issue ya. Ofori Atta issue no wa no kopeja ede bae. Ye nyina ye nim se Ghana ha sei no. Ofori Atta ye wo charges bebre amanfo ede ball no. Eba sa SML ekoba ambulance ayi offense scandals na eba National Cathedral just say ye wo charge bebre amanfo ede abono e wo krom ha sei ne wo ankasa in January after I think say yes so President Mama in wie na no kopeja ni issue ede bae say ope ayi Ofori Atta interrogate no meanwhile no what na say amanipa no den every chrome ha sei oma na wasesa microphone dey asi wanim na wape camera dey asi so na waka ne waka na watchro dey akoma Ofori Atta se wuhia no oma na onso atchro dey abre say oyare oma okoye den okoye operation. So you see come here quite to say between ono Kissi Ajaben any Ofori Atta no yen hyeda hu emu de ne ode Ghana for adwen any edi agro what you say na ade ba ko a sesia yi nwanwa na asefem say wo ka kire say Kissi Ajaben ka kire say what declare Ofori Atta ayi red alert.
Yes.
What NATO Interpol red alert.
Yes.
What it mean is say one kasa effort to say opese odino ba oman yimu the adwin di agra because odi adno call chief of staff one no chief of staff so sanchro the command attorney general refer issue no the man attorney general say onu no mom no enye that ayi extradition no. What I say, and who near all person we are and here we are. I Attorney General office no, and so I tried the Abre will say, fine, all a weapon, all the Nipana to Interpol red alert, and to me achieve result. All person will initiate extradition, and intino docket a wo efa Ofori Atta ho. Na wo pese odi ye interrogation no fa docket no bre because ye office anyone that authority na ye betumi aye den extradite Ofori Atta enti fa sa docket no ye den fa docket no maye a enu nso ne ene no o sa ne tro ne ma foforo say wo friend say ayi or compile docket no. What I say, meanwhile, are taking more than 2 months. Request now, Attorney General office no, I place to say be here docket now, but me they are extraditing Ofori Atta. Are taking more than 2 months. What I say, ne ene won't mean yet then won't mean for docket no ko. In the first place no. Question na me person me bisa me say. Time na wo ankasa wo pese Ofori Atta eba Ghana ha sei no. Dan docket ben na ugina so evidence ben na wo wa eni nti na wo pese Ofori Atta den eba. Enti sen ko beduru ya nanka afa mom ne obe compile ayi docket no. Ansa na what me atotona no ana asesen.
Also red alert in the Juma.
Red alert in the Juma. But red alert no so limitation. Yeah. Because even with the extradition now or offense saying Attorney General office no persebe no. You can't extradite in a vacuum. There must be a docket supporting it because a court.
Yeah.
I don't know what the corner US or say hifana or the corner. Ben on son bebe say offense and person extradite nipa no. Is there any merit? You don't just extradite in a vacuum. What you say? And you know, here say be the docket here then the cost support. And no so a kosi and kosi koda and koda. And to me, you met me can say special prosecutor office no. Fairly.
Afeli and Afeli.
What you say? Because then all this while you started this in January.
Yeah.
We are in the 10th month. And you didn't have a docket. Into friend now friend now friend say, "Oh, may you day."
And then that's no.
And now say obeduru moma na nka wo ba be compile bibi ahu
se wo mpese ye do man hye wo nsa na ye criticize wo na ba be attack ye anase bi a wo ba ye so na wudi ye nte unya ye ya wo be ye bibu emmoa wa aban mo accept ye na mu ndi ye ntum na ye no mo kura no ho mo san so kura mo ya ba so sa de be kina Captain Smart ete ye na nani abre adwumade a wo ye ye e de ndisi ba power na Ama Agyarko oba besia ye tumidin ye asantoa me ana yana me pepe se de nkofofo ho aledi ye asan me mpe me na Ama Agyarko me din anu no na ama enu anu no ye konkudin sacrifice ye adwumade ma ndisi ba power no ne ye pe ene de Ghana for hwehwe se aban ne be succeed only MP before kakra bi ena wo mo hwe kwan se aban ne be faili enti se aban ne faili a equalization na da achi bia no waka se aban ne bomodia se wo faili a na che se wanya bia ka an mo se ya banye ena mo se ya banya momfa amamuo no enwu nsane ni so John Dramani Mahama ni 4 years na Akufo-Addo na waka an dollar na ekoye akodu 17 years ekoye akodu 16 years no John Mahama NDC aban ba na 20 cedis dollar akodu 20 cedis ni ade no John Mahama ba no atre 25 cedis said you obi ti say your friend say former Didima vice president no okeken so ahụ no okeka sign MPP na waso a MPP ba dollar betimi adu $1 betimi adu 25 Ghana cedis no so enye sa na ye hwehwe ne se aban be succeed because aban ne succeed a ye se nkwan ye da kwantere ye so ye de ese bi ye de enom ba se amamuo ne nye na se ye tena se na ye koye nsentrofuo binum na sika die basa de ye gie di na hia ye enema ekoso ne nye ba ye nka na ya muaban no entisi etimi gina ye na so se na sade ye twen na Ama Agyarko Captain Smart o mom keka ho ye criticize aban na hu se ye correct aban no enema wuduo bia emua President Mahama aban no ye pese ye clear the free system no emu ama aban ye dey efa no ntuma padifra ma start inti twabi tum ne yankowai so ahu mi gina ba bia ene ye share the link fo nyina mo share link no ne yankoye nim eti oso accept na wugitum se Captain Smart ayade na Ama ayade media general for Johnny mu ayade wo mom ka wunyina ayade se wo mo konkoden se Ghana for hia change ni ba ya enye se ya se cars ni sika de ama wo mo enti President Mahama ba mu panifo eye bibia ne ya di ne ehwe wo mo ye hwe se ne be ya memory be kɔ yie ama Ghana for enho atɔ isa se sa bre eni amemofu enipa komu no ye hia bi wo Ghana ha se bi onim ene start bi Mr. Ju President Mahama after ni swearing in no akutakuta car bi fa car ni to so mame me start the afiri wo car we President car we ye Ghana coat of arms na edanim no ho car we say unity no eye he wo Ghana ha ena President Mahama ba en wadi say ena ka wakwakoto ena mfanyifa nkosi o se ka ne ye Toyota se mu kaya ana your friend se Manasa Zuri odi for the Explorer issues bi ba ye sabe I remember 2016 na President Mahama ne ma me da form ena samre abrante Manasa dey for the Explorer who issue ba ye na contractor bi o man the contract na dey water Ford bi e dey ba ye na mfanyifa your friend say aha kanazo eto man no na President Mahama say na me kura afford me de ye de me ka say me pay Toyota ejima hu say ka we ye Toyota eyi ni ti na nkofo oka ena ai wa starting term ena Ghana sikana de President Mahama nkofo so ni nua Ibrahim Mahama ne to ye de man no ena me kasaba security na me de atiesie no atema habo Ghana habo na me de atiesim ni me di agro ne kura na me de atiesim wo ho she President Mahama ya Ghana dia but oye dwapade kese de mana busua wo ye edwapade kese de mana busua edi se what study hu a President Mahama na mo bia wo tu bia no edu ba bia ni nua baba Ibrahim Mahama wo bem wo intervene because even though say ye was security ya a protective President Mahama Ghana Armed Forces no on the commander in chief ya wadano wokọ Ghana Police Council na the vice president ena edano but edru ba bia adwuma na wo ye no e wo se wan kasa no wo ma wani da ho wonya wo counter intelligence ya wo de be monitor system no no hu se ne system ni sitie kwan ya be fa so wo security wo be de wo be bo ho ban enti President Mahama free adwuma se no saka we se no na e wo ne ya eye after the swearing in and President Mahama Kaso ya wa presidential ya ikaso ho and wa kotem ka President Mahama ka ni na wotwe enka any President Mahama na wotwe after President Mahama the swearing in 7 December 7 January or starting the meetings the engagement e won wankasa ne private office na onye no wo reference presidency because eniema President Boadu Chief of Staff Madam Fremo Oparemo omu yen wo presidency wo niema set up trap ahodo ene kire say your friend is say cameras ya secret cameras wo mu fix ye e watch as presidency one man san wo mu yi wo mu niema die form na enya asem ketwa eniema ohu wo mu kwa wonu so mu ye renovation wo mu siesie ho eniema wo mu hu ye e was our presidency one na enya asem ketwa it is a President Mahama di security edi agro Ibrahim Mahama di ni nua President Mahama security edi agro en o kan say di oye Ghana dia it is security ba ne bambo mu bia dia e Ghana fo adwuma enka e bia nka anti asem de fatu wutirim hwe ye to abawie ya President Mahama wo fie after 7 December 8 December na aye ne wo Ghana hasa President Mahama wu me wo ho sofu kesie bi frɛ me ka tese na nama monkoye program na mundi bank that room na ekoso no because enema bonten say President Mahama wu epono he omo spiritual entimi no afa omo election mu no na omo face ni sei no omo face President Mahama ne entourage during campaign season mu no omo face wo mu sei ni nyina anya yie enti after election o wi ni ye no na cha say information na say ensem enema bonten so ekwansa President Mahama wawu me ma me frɛ me papa ya say papa na me say montwe 7 January say President Mahama tiasa na say won tiasa mu behu eti ebane bamba the late President Rawlings ya no ye military leader adie man ye Rawlings nyina is about the security because we ye soldier ni kese e ka say Lieutenant General John Rawlings na onfa na ho bambo ni security endi agro na he wasn't the type of person ono no ka say Ghana Armed Forces wo ho national security wo ho Ghana Police Service wo ho ye were intelligent one kasa no one private counter intelligence one mo ye dey eye adwuma ede emmanuel enti before say wo kra no mo no kra o mine bambo ko no mo di information beba na ekuta ne dada enti from military ya wo ba say ya to abama no be ya president 8 years no wonu ankasa woni secret private security wo mo pick intelligence from grounds from grassroots from baby dey edemano President Mahama started ye ni Ibrahim Mahama ni aircraft ni private jet na no odi tukwan meboa ni first akwantu to Kumase Mr. Chu fasa video no to so mame baba hwe edu baby na so bi eye bibia eye ane nkrofo politics inti ni Ghana ha politics inti no bibia ye beye bia no ya ye ni politics but President Mahama no be ka kire wo say oye Ghana dia but ni busuamu ehia ne kese esene Ghana no owo ma owo yire wo abusuafo first one na okọ Kumase no first one President Mahama ekọ Kumase wanfa eyi ne koye Ghana aircraft nyane no de koye wasa to akwan kwa other African countries wo kwa na eye baba Ibrahim Mahama aircraft private jet na no de nam adenti no abaye president ne wa presidential jet wo ho na wo tu kwan na ni nua president private jet wo do tu kwan eye security reasons the last time Captain Smart kan ne ma bi wa ha say na oyo opposition leader o to obi a wa ye former president Ediama Ghana o tu kwan kura kwan ya de ne faso terminal 3 na wono asi ye no e kwan ya ne de ne faso wo terminal 3 wo Ghana se na nya asem ketwa Senka President Mahama after see a two abawi you obeye ni swearing in and was starting here and I was presidential jet and was starting to kwanka de two and opay the 8 heroes no and ka President Mahama na nketo no. Senye Ibrahim Mahama ni President Mahama busua ene tena se adwen ne bambo ho nsem ho ene oye se da bi me wo private jet enti se sia ne de ba bi a wo beko bia no eno na wo se wo yusu ene om ka se do ba yi wo man ne dia enti ba bi a beko bia no o man ne aircraft ka me ka kire wo se dia 28 heroes no enka nyu om na beto om because sa apam ne sa epo no ya hye dia to President Mahama ho enka Ghana nka yanti asem wo de na me ka e de asi asem so se baba Ibrahim Mahama wonye de facto prime minister government appointees wonka ho bi but President Mahama e wo legacy yeah all build this 4 years eja sa legacy no the late President Rollins ejabi e de amana busua ne ma zenato no nyina mo papa no adwuma a wo mo ye no mo didi ho de ko former President John Ajakum for 8 years oja legacy editor ho that bia ne ba ma bi unity so be president a ne papa legacy be di nanim kan opana na Akufo Addo legacy de mo amunim say na o say o mind the first when do a country destroyer one legacy papa bia ne legacy ane say onipa ba ne ba so obewie no akum na wasei na Akufo Addo legacy obeja ya nipa ba no ba so obewia no wakum na wasei enunti na Ghana ha sei no ya kadia to me say wo say ye history ye book ede to on ma Ghana for sua generation after generation esua say na Akufo Addo na busua de memo de enu kwa so mo ba ho biem because what your papa history kra airtime what your papa history omo fa kokonko omo kwa ba omo se ayira enema bebre be funfum adwapade saa ene na Akufo Addo nso ne legacy onipa ba ne ba so obewia no akunu ayedai na wasei eno ano no so beto so oni legacy papa bia on be bo okro no omo be kum nipa e be destroy wo man esa so destroy the party ama ene New Patriotic Party enya United Party UP cross so ate de free mu etu ono oba so oba be na o sell wo man na obo wo man the first ebinsi da bai kwa maban aba enti Baba Ibrahim Mahama President Mahama wo legacy yeah what's mo boano no oba ho ban anya sa na points ifo bi ebe ma ne legacy no anim guase aka no President Mahama ni abre so be fight corruption but government appointees officials bi wo hono mo a omu yusu ni din e de ya grobin e de lutu oman e de be bokro no e de ba be pa hunyade because omu tribu ponya na say 4 years we say de wo so munya bie wo so wo munya I can't remember opana amemwere na Akufo Addo amemwo yi atwa mu what me say do baby a no onya security flaws the nsebi on my inconsistencies wom ni briefings a wonya no what me say papa we say na ni security e fail no okojira baby ka bibia busa sa na Akufo Addo otukwa akọ Sri Lanka na ana akọ Afghanistan enye Ghana ha no na papa ite adanti na nsebi say no okeka say we security first say e fail wa who give you out information one kasa na radical we gu hu animu ase wadan so ase me nan so no wada hwe edu ba bia Ghana centrofo bi etc dampare so former IGP so no me won say na me say IGP ye adwuma because first year enka wo beti na kro no we yesi ha an rebresi ha yakum nipa almost say one report kwaso bat one report wo say esipa but dampare emma police headquarters and as a region so unlike previously now Ashanti region be on weekly basis press conference regional your friend is a police commander wo brief ye wo kwa central omo brief ye wo kwa northern omo brief ye and dampare no sa regular briefing na ye ntibi enti stop ni nyina nti wo Ghana ha de wo betia ne say oh na bibia nkoso national na report no kwa ba kra na dampare no onfa nya hwe na dampare fa nya hwe before dampare beba no all the regions no police regional directorate no na omo ye wo omo adwuma on weekly basis de ekoso bia wo region bia na omo update Ghana from omo brief ye eye sa eboa bambo no afa ye say ya centralizing ye de ba national e de na national for the ba so imagine say wo IGP bia eniam abonefo sem ekoso na one farmer bonten na so no na embrief wa or ye dwuma de protect wonu ni interest ama Ghana of one say hey IGP ye dwuma e say de Ghana juo ye nkum nipa ye nwia nipa krono ba akoso mi hwa na ekoso enti say wo IGP bi saa na wo so wono hwa na wa update you about security a wo be fail na no ya current IGP ba ye Christian Tetenyonu wasa de aba what the aba what you say your friend is say omo update Ghana for Emma Ghana for hu ne ekoso say mobile money for mo vendors yakokum wo bi e wa ha ne ekoso bia no current IGP nyonu e brief Ghana for update Ghana for Emma Ghana for hu ne ekoso it is una police council no vice president Professor Jenna no pokwa no da no a there's no way bet me di bibia sieo say they na dan pare ye no so eti wankasa na we president no said the late president Rollins ni security one friend diago one realize say your Ghana forces or your Ghana police service or your national security or your NIB or your Yoko or your here for or omo be brief ye no wonu wankasa na onu ankasa e won private counter intelligence unit a omo kwase eti before ba be briefing no na wonim dia wo de ba President Mahama ebeba power 2024 yi oni Ghana for kwapam woni grassroots ekwapam but say gradually as a gap bi ba be tontamu because say President Mahama entimi san ko grassroots ho no mo enko bi sa wo mu bibia biemu o eya na point is the government appointees woma djuma no woma sede no woma sudie no but that government appointees na e was omo reflect omo ye reflections of President Mahama no enya sa na ekoso say ya make say enti make say President Mahama say wo legacy bia wo build dia so wo legacy bia wo build dia so one hwe ya some of your appointees ebema wanim aguase ena me producer God we eken obi feel say na no yes me kai funim hwe me ma me bia me yesu ano obaso wanya appointment ena me kwasra no ai eye ampa God we asema wo kan no kure o say eye suku amakọ na adi aboa me eye suku mi kunu boai me ye campaign mako school onu fi say wako school ni kunu university e was a campaign nim onu so university enti appointment na wanya eye ne compensation office appointment na wanya eye ne compensation o compensation me kachira wo say eni patanfo ya ni fiefo eni patanfo nya bontensofo watanfo ya ufiefo enya abontensofo enti wodi atena ho na kachira me say obi apese wo ye masters obi e bod doctorate obi e PhD no wo wi aba kachira wo say ni CV na adi abon wo CV di bu awo no reset agenda no eye nipa eye nkrofo eye nipa eye grassroots it say we lose contact with the grassroots na we fail ba it doesn't matter adwuma wo be ye emfa ho any dollar ye be ba 10 cedis emfa ho any hospitals do a wo be si emfa ho any market centers do a wo be si emfa ho any infrastructure development a wo be ye we lose track we lose contact we lose engagement with the grassroots. I'm telling you say we no baby ah obi enu won mo betimi anya akwanya any President Mahama abompu ni pubiem say na President Mahama e wo opposition na nkofo ni hia no campaign bia so President Mahama ko opposition de bia no wadwuma ye all the regions de bia no wakoya oni nkofo hia this time around no nkofo grassroots no omunya sa akwanya ne President Mahama nye de enhia politicians eye greedy sometimes o transa na bisa ho say adenti na tesa President Mahama, Miss Mahama, 8 for your ministers. Minim 2024, NDC parliamentary candidate be a winner or your minister. No one says the Kadia campaign on the constituency. Miss Mahama, no womb. Mels Mahama sani pa ko nu owom but otina fie 8 years in opposition ehia no otimi tu car na wa short fuel eti sadia na modi asimani so no amoye no President Mahama eye adwuma enu ameka wa ha se wukọ NDC mu a President Mahama eye adwuma President Mahama eye adwuma but ministers bebre we pe e wo presidential ambition we pe running mate ambition we pe so the vice president government appointees in so a wo mo so nya appointment no egugugu ho no mo omo ye greedy grubbing ni CV na adwuma wa ye ni kunu tuaye otuaye enti position na wanya no eye ni compensation 4 years dey wo so wanya bia wo so wanya hwe mako ayi gold board 2 occasions asama make sami David Kroni me mpa ho hye mi nko no mi onhia me da e wo ne office wo da me koya ade wo ho no mako wo 2 occasions ko twehwe wo bi wo ho ohun me da asama me se wo du ho no me bisa se na da sami David nko na grassroots no ye tuagu ne so ana mako 2 occasions odu ho no ma ho Old Bank of Ghana building na say gold board enipa NDC grassroots for what say oma akente ho oma bunkam dia fa ho so the last time me gina baby na me bisa ho say so what about the other government appointees e dia no omoye CEO for ne dia na moye managing directors for ne dia na moye appointment na dia ma na compensation o mo ye djuma dia ma wo man na djuma dia ma mo party because through mo party no adwuma dia nkofo ye no manyanya sa appointment no me se me gina ho no mo gina ba bi na ma ye say me say so other institutions na ye yi managing directors ye yi CEO for dia no mo ye because wo sha as obi afri nkra obi afri Ashanti region obi afri Central region obi afri Northern region Western region no oba e Sami Jamfi office no oko nipa ni po bia aka na sema kire na Sami Jamfi office no oko hwe ye bebo machi aka na sa akopem bra mo be ye the needful because ye ma mo say President Mahama legacy our build no ye ma mo ense no se mo lose track with the grassroots se mo lose track with the grassroots ebe ha mo party no ni nyina ka hu bi hwe se ye disika na wi ni power. I'm telling you people say enka Dr. Bawumia ka NDC President Mahama ka wontimi wi ni da enya ska na di wi ni election o se Ghana focus yempew no amount of sika obetu agu system no ebe last year mu MPP man mi ka kire me say Ghana fo hu ni sika o madwen sesa na 2024 no omo betu sika agu system nim enti kwa bia so MPP presidential candidate be wini enya sika na di wini election o enipa de wo madwen ohu ye Ghana fo bufu a ne yese yempew se wo party mu akasafo ebufu se wa use o ma damping wo mo ne o mo hwehwe ne o ma anya enu nti o be show red card a me se election bedu aba no o mo nkonkoto enti President Mahama se woni bia Baba Ibrahim said the one boy President Mahama ho ban efiri abatu obremu after abatu obrechi e na make say your private jet e na President Mahama di tutu kwan say ka President Mahama te say na akufu ado ban na libusuani bia ni private jet ya e ka President Mahama nka bana nka o matenete ya na ado ban libusuani bia ni private jet enti Ghana de ya presidential jet ni obekọ ba bi obo say President Mahama ban no e na busuafo te say na akufu ado busuafo mo ba no mu ni dama no mu ni kapre e na che say private jet presidential jet e no di tutu kwan ya enko mo tenete. Yes, the last time the video ya Mr. Chu who was that video no na no ya Ofori China ya obaye munyima me na no ya Ofori China baye enye ni nua baba na kopeke do ono na peke no de ne baye ono na fa no ye de ode ne baye onim nia wo ye President Mahama ya Ghana dia but ye busuani ofira busuam enti ye nja no President Mahama ne Chief of Staff and then me catch them mo say mu lose track with the grassroots. Chief of Staff President Mahama Dr. Kalustos ufa ha na wedna Dr. Kalustos no and Dr. Kalustos no and Felix Kwacho so no and Felix Kwacho Felix Kwacho so ye body o honorable Felix Kwacho so ye body pa he no pede we am me hit am le ye body honorable Felix Kwacho so me so pe masempa manka emwa e wose me ka na presidency wo me sister media engagement na na mo grassroots buafu no a mo ye media na mo cheche enkofu ehia explanation bia 10 months e kwa 1 year MPP for eda so agum MPP for da so gum mo grassroots gudam na aka che say ye ntua ye ka na 10 months ni ye ntua kwa we don't care, they don't care about obedu pay. Wobedu pay enti babai Ibrahim Mahama said ya wo start ya na wuguso na wo je ne do baby kwa wa wutimi drive President Mahama bo videos ni bi mama na me nkomani na me tin system Mahabo ya ka de esi asem so afia so wa money nua no na se ordinary to your friend is an appointee so an legacy our building no na no ya China de yeni wo ba ye hwe oba ye na no ya ko China ba ye eni eni nua ya na ko peke no de ne ba ye oni mi so obi ka kire me ona ono na be drive car obi ka kire me say President Mahama be ye vice president no Ibrahim Mahama eto Toyota Avalon baku 6 enu na che say ni daily routines bi bia odi ye enu na no odi ye me say na no obi ka asem we say kire me say Ibrahim Mahama to Toyota Avalon baku 6 the man ni nua that no vice president enti na no odi ye ni bi bia di Toyota ne dia baba enu na che say odi ye ni bi bia nto no Ford won fa nya hwe Chuang. Hey, if you had to go. It is a mama ni na ho no mo am say mo legacy am building no President Mahama o legacy no enkofo be sanwe adi egu ayi adi egu garim wo be say no because omu use di corruption me say Temahabo me say ba hobiem Temahabo hwe unim Ghana Revenue Authority 22 yes 20, the last time boss me kawa 2012 to 2016 me kawa ha first year na your court election petition court issues but from 2013 to 2016 President Mahama judgment na ya na me ka say President Mahama ne ma wo ye no enya de foforo wonu ne mamuo no eye development yenya kwan yensi hospitals yensi schools yenfo policies emra ebe matememu fo ho atowom but because of eniema say greedy evil dwarfs evil dwarfs 2012 to 2016 ministers government appointees MMDC is murdered omo greedy ntino President Mahama ye adwuma batampie because Satan enkofo ani abre efum epesika she hospitals dabi some maritime Ghana Maritime Hospital na obi anim sa UGMC ye hunu da even afari ni ene se wanu ni ade no President Mahama eko opposition ansa na ye hunu adwuma papa we say ya ye ansa na ye hunu adwuma wa ye but na wo Minister of Information minister se wo ho wo spokesperson wo aid wo hehefo ni nyina academ 84 years we say ni de mo compensation me say mes katam me dismantle mo me de Captain Smart ye bex katam wa dismantle mo ye be bubum e wo krom ha too much ni nyina ne say the woman say obi no mahunu say President Mahama ekọ 4 years pe after the 4 years wonum ni awo ba when na government next government no you are an appointment and no anya it will be on agenda and amaya mu evil dwarfs and amugu abanim and amu fu sika na no me ka ye say mo yayi and dem mo ye evil dwarfs ankasa Ghana Revenue Authority Commissioner General what the report be by say enkrofo bi smugglers ya what diesel smuggling syndicate ya omo evade taxes report am de be 2.3 million Ghana cedis and na no pay sa investigation akwakosi say because that syndicate no eda so what Temahabo offshore fuel smuggling syndicate no omo da so what Temahabo ye ma mesia nyina ewom oba besia national security oba besia and was supervise sa offshore fuel smuggling syndicate ni da so wotemahabo ho Ghana Revenue Authority said this is when the na buy 2.3 million Ghana cedis na Commissioner General mo ka se mo hwehwe mu no e ho report we akwa akosisei she Parliament ekwa recess omunim de omo beba omu hia sika na no speaker say indefinite onim da omo befre omu hia sika omu hia sika enti Parliament mai enkofo gutamahabo the heart of Ghana's economy yeah habo no ya ti syndicate run family NGOs wo ho Commissioner General first one this the na buy na also we invade tax 2.3 million Ghana cedis in a way because weekend yes the omo ye weekend syndicate na mugu temahabo ho no no a man a supervisor no me say temahabo ho the so called national security for the makogu ho no no mu de mu interest mu selfish interest evil dwarfs mu selfish interest and mugu ho no na mo ye me bisa mo say over the weekend yes it say fu wenko am smuggle ye nko ano e ye kure be say 26 to 30 tankers yes almost starting no Friday and Joe Saturday Sunday at the end be be say 12 midnight ebe Monday na che say tankers no o ma filili na wie mu invade taxes akronfo national security akronfo ya mugu temahabo hey me say ya bregu kenya pona ken ya bregu ya bregu the MPP for na ya no mugu ho ya bio na ya na ya mare ho say enkrofo ti won mo ka say the enkrofo we mo kwan dey west oma ya brantie bi adi yeso de Kasim na enkrofo Kasim minimum Kasim o mo Kasim kro no a mo syndicate sa mu fu west smuggling na ekoso on ma mo na ye no a afi wakote moto ni mo asie ni na mo twa akoti ma ye che no buo no kwa detaining wo obligate a afi ma pam no kena bona mi edi na mo boka minimum no Muguta mahabo ho no mo e ma form syndicate eno me kan se nkrofo ate ho se yeso obi asesa ne surname wuji awe ya odem Rashida Mahama wuji awe ya wasimi difuseni Dramani Mahama wuji awe ya wasi national security coordinator mi busuani no ena mudidi nsem ena mudidi nsemfon free senior high school policy no abane be wa ntwam ye hia sika dia kowuram mugo na mu wie sika finance minister Dr. Kissi out forcing. Emre bia ye sia okaso kodi 1 month e watamahabo. Ukodi 1 month watamahabo ne kokosi sei. Ukodi 1 month e watamahabo no e ko wie sei because ye ko wie nyina dan say syndicate no da so a wo hono mo a wa mo ye adwuma. Syndicate no o mo guso a wo hono mo a wa mo eye adwuma. Ya wa mo enkoye. Okoye reshuffle e watamahabo finance minister okoye reshuffle watamahabo ho no aka bi wo ho e na me kan say unless say ebinum no mo ho no e bia NDC forum go mu ni maduma nani so enti wo mo boa wo mo ana say omo nanim kro no boyie omo na be bo NDC fo no ama wo bokro no boyie enti maja wo mo ho reshuffle no okoye yi nkrofo no aka bi wo ho AC preventive ACP money no awate wono mo no yes niema a wo mo de ne ye MPP 8 years no oda so te wo no ye ntina Ghana ha ye mrengu o ye mrengu da say ya bregu ena ntiatiamu yi ne ya bo MPP fu achi na mo so mo aba na mo ne MPP fu aka bom mu belutu grubbing evil dwarfs ye mbrengu da hajia office na wakwakoye ogapo a hono no gapo afo se munyi ni fifiri o kana bona hajia na kwakosi gapo a hono o se wo ye national security intelligence and monitoring no gapo a national security for office wo ho Black Star Line hono no office wo kwakoye adwuma no fit Gapoa for office one from because Gapoa for say illegalities, criminal activities now all supervising one mon pay. And yet dia one pay. Say me cut me biemu a ho he. Say oh member so Yesi me baba be di agro. Mi wie na mabaso. Ema be si am wata mahabo. We di hadia eno mugu tamahabo. Na kire se grubbing. Aside offshore fuel smuggling syndicate, you know, one sound so task force, national security, task force. Okay, national security for President Mohammed you woman, and no be friend Ashanti radio for Mugu, Krono amo bo Azil Road, Greater Accra, Western region, national security for almost all free crime, no more to car, and then Galamsey site, no more Jinko Fosika, a day. Hajia ba ko so se friend say yi refa yeso onu enam na eba the meat na eba no so yeso onu so pinso hajia fo mugu me so yeah the so called national security operatives yeah do makogu habo no boni a wo mu die e man mema fuwe syndicate ebe siso yesi eba no mo community ewa yi high see ni so one mo crop community ebe lande anajo yesi minister regional minister ka ho regional minister kora bi oyo oba o kasa syndicate no ho NDC fo amom nyam ka ho ma me na djuma na wo ye no hwe national security coordinator mo crop na mo to magu abonten so o mu gu animu ase and na me boss checkpoint na o ma ye odowenya ho no customs checkpoint wo ho eniema no aye load na ye de eba no e fa checkpoint enti checkpoint na o ma ba odowenya na sa ha jana sesa ne boys ene ne nkrofo do makogu ho no no a o mu eye extortion no o mu say national security papa edie bay criteria authority powers bay edie na mu gina so a edie na wo mo cheke ye enti ma ye sa checkpoint na odowenya ho after customs dia na o mo gi enkrofo important fo sika. And you think we will not talk? Then na Akufo-Addo ne nkrofo no bo say ene wo si eja wo mo. Ene wo si eja wo mo. Se mo de enu kwa say ye ka mo de na mo ba ye nche. Mo simuntem. Sananadu 8 years. Na sa checkpoint ni nsi ho. Sam George constituency ni go pram. Sasa checkpoint ni do we nya ho na nsi ho. Miss Mahama 8 years na nsi ho. Na say within short term the so-called national security for abo checkpoint omunya hwio yaso wo mo che niama no mo tu niama no mo de bebedu abelempe wo mo warehouse wo no mo a na o makwa ne kwafa afachire akọ release niama no wo mo gisika yetimi $20,000 ye gisika wo politician me say wudi politician chi na wo wu nkwase ewu wudi politician chi ni yobo utuo na wo na atwa wani pai wejimi because ni interest onu ni na busuafo interest enti na NDC grassroots mugu fia musun 1 year ni mu hwehwe adenti na national security office no wo kwata mahabo hono ma Black Star Line hono mo na wo hono mo no hadia wakwaje gapo hade aboso se sankukuru nkaka fa firi ho na mo kwata mo Black Star hono mo yese torture ne de mo fa ne nyahwe because obia report by national security coordinator enti Black Star Line hono mo no penifo mvo mo nyahwe syndicate na wata mahaba hono mo de bokro no no hwe adenti ene wo so obi import ade ne niema ba eniema no okwafa free China no otimi suave system no wan suave o eniema no a wode ba no anyama sem na meka se container na wo ya wo betue bibia pepepe ade na bedu Ghana se nipa no a wode niema ne bai no yema ni ntue bibia pepepe no onyimpie international security fo no so aho process na examine niema scan no mo scan no se niema e wo mu no e wo se so ready a no ma ye ni se green no ma di hu sika ade na so ready no make say green no wa di hu sika duty 100,000 wo betua 80,000 wo ma chedi wo ma twem 25,000 e dia ma ban no yenso so ne yenso so china enti sa syndicate cartel syndicate na mate e wo various harbors takwade harbor tema harbor ene me say borders no kwade e time And teacher say, I bury by where you person me call national security, where you person me run, where you person me call harbor, where you say ya say crowd na mo kwakobo. Tina was say crowd na mo kwakobo. National security coordinator and na me kan kire mu biem. Yes, so say police for edom kogu national security say ya na eba. Constable no dey komu no dey fa ha no mu jejina kwa ho no mu jeje 116 no mu enti edi o mu tiri mu dem mani mu gu asi wo krom ha na president mahama so we do wani to om so be failu afa ma mi fa we se nwie eno ma hu say deputy agi ni di say ma mi fa nwie e ka bibi say boss ma mi mo so taw manya boss dam o de say ni di say deputy agi no same side Justice Shemsai say special prosecutor docket no document o mu hia e de afa kan Ofori Atta aba no wanya bia ma wo mu me tene taw me special prosecutor Kissi Ajabe madamfo I don't trust him say NDC aban ayo ma dwen say omo de kan Ofori Atta beba omo rely on information special prosecutor de be ma wo mu ye wo kromo ha say na ye friend say Richard Jakpamo ekwa ready former finance minister kan Ofori Atta fie ade achi yana Kissi Ajabe press conference said that was orchestrated by kan Ofori Atta no bi anko ni fie hwe Kissi Ajabe use so adwen kese na ode yes animal obuwa eye kan Ofori Atta mu na use Kissi Ajabe enti say aban ni momu no be starting process this repatriation process say wo ye no de kan Ofori Atta bagana no na say special prosecutor Kissi Ajabe ejigina mu enti before election few months to the general election na Kissi Ajabe start ye ankonam ankonime na say agenda wo boa MPP for no hunu ye say omu lusu NDC be wini enti Kissi Ajabe hye ni hu anim say asem MPP for mafia no omu dinani wo ye adwuma ne ye ka ne hye se ne be ya wo benya trust kakra dia free NDC aban ho enti bibia ne ano start me na me start ekwan bia me de yi kan Ofori Atta be obuwa me se wo obuwa Kissi Ajabe mbuwa unless say President Mahama ni NDC government omunye o madwe so me kan Ofori Atta beba so de kan Ofori Atta beba na be ka kire me say who hear docket who hear information who hear document e the special prosecutor office and say na wo de kan Ofori Atta ba na wo NDC aba person o kire me say wo buwa wonye adwe so de kan Ofori Atta beba because is our operation we do 1 week kra utimi bagana sa time wo wu sa time kra wo kwakoye kidney transplant kwa no wo wu kra okoye wie ya ne mfra toto awa honhono kra no de be ya adwuma prostate baby abaye ni bia no wonni week 3 days kwa wonni wo hospital ye yu kofie kidney kra ye koyi ye pe 19 years abamu a e de replace no kra no ba adwuma na nti se prostate enti me ka kire abamu panifo se kan Ofori Atta he president Mahama safi we se nkwa wieye na se kan Ofori Atta mo mfa ne maya ene mo be chia ya mpa wo Ghana ha sei